ethnic profiling in politics in Lagos. Because over the weeks now, let me say a particular ethnic, let me say second of the ethnics have been tired. Let me put it plain, the Igbo people in Lagos. And I think this is probably because they tune more in favor of Labour Party as opposed the APC candidates. And this has resulted in so many incidents like fire outbreak, destroying their property, housings, and so many other things. And there was a report I got today in a particular polling station, only the Yoruba people were allowed to vote. The Igbos were not allowed. That is, the thugs there now, they were kind of disenfranchising them from casting their vote because they are what majorly Igbos. And I believe they had a premonition that they probably vote for the Labour Party, and they are trying to prevent them from going ahead to vote for Labour Party. So please, I would appreciate your view on this. Do you think this is ethnic profiling? Will it really work? And what are the implications for democracy and what's it called, the election process as a whole? Because it
Yeah,
has led to several incidents, and it doesn't speak well for us at this stage as a
yeah,
democratic state, because definitely it's giving us bad signals and giving us bad impressions in the global community. So, sir, please, I
yeah.
will appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I think it's really unfortunate that our democracy seems to be taking two steps forward and one step back. The fact that people are bold enough, they can move in such a way without any form of recourse or redress for such actions, and decide to alter the progress of the elections. I think that's quite unfortunate for our politics in Nigeria. Now, what I believe we need to try to establish in Nigeria is the means and the method that we know are ideal for the conduct of elections. It's unheard of, although I must admit that things like this happen everywhere. We've seen it in other democracies, even advanced ones, like in the US, where people go to polling stations armed with guns, especially in states where you can carry weapons openly. So this is not something new, and they do this to intimidate. However, they do not physically get to prevent people from being able to cast their ballots. Any attempt to do that, I'm sure, will be met with equal force. So I think INEC needs to work with their partners in the security establishments. INEC works in conjunction with the police and the military. They've talked about the way in which they conduct this election. They tend to have policemen stationed in all of these polling units, and they stay at a distance and they watch the conduct to see that everything is peaceful. And so my question would be, in these places where things like this are occurring, what are those security personnel? What are they doing at that moment where they see that people are being forced out of the polling area or are being intimidated and prevented to vote? So they told us there are concentric circles that outside that circle, probably a kilometer away or some meters away, you then have from the locations, they form a ring. You then have the policemen that are actually carrying weapons, right, and can be called upon at any point in time if there is any of such issues. So my question would be, what are those INEC officials in that location? What are they doing? Are they calling on the security personnel to handle the situation and maybe arrest those people that are doing this? And if the security personnel feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed here, then they should call for backup from those concentric rings. So they maintain a ring of unarmed security personnel around the polling locations. There's another outer concentric ring of armed policemen, and then outside those, you now have the soldiers, basically. And all of these people are just reinforcements, they're backups, and I believe this is their job. This is what they've been called upon to do. So my own thought here would be that we ought to go to them. We ought to have a critique of the performance of INEC at the end of the day. With every election, my expectation is that we should always get better at what we're doing, right? We should never have a situation where, we are basically regressing in terms of how we are conducting our elections. So I think it's rather unfortunate that people can do that, and they can allow these kind of things to happen and fester without any form of recourse or redress. So additionally, let me mention here that it's also important that we address the politicians here that usually have something to benefit when things like this happen. As you said, maybe the Igbo people are being prevented to vote so that it can favor the APC candidates, or allegedly. The thing we have to note here is INEC also has to have a way of saying to these politicians that, hey, this is a behavior we are not going to condone, and we have to ensure that there's a way of redress, and that these kind of issues are actually addressed. I think generally what INEC has tended to do is just to cancel those polling polling units. I think that's also unfair to those people. But I think we need to have a mechanism in which people that have not been able to make it to the polls for a legitimate reason can seek redress with INEC or with those election officers there and be able to cast their ballots. So it's unfortunate that our politicians keep engaging in this kind of identity, tribal and ethnic politics. It's very dangerous. It inflames the polity. I think if the APC feels that they have done a good job, then they should be confident in the people examining the work that's been done. I think APC and in all its reincarnations from AC to AD back in the days, and ACN and what have you, they've actually been in power in Lagos for almost 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe at this point in time they should be confident in what they've done, because at the end of the day, the politicians are there to serve the people. So I see this election as, especially in Lagos State, as a form of referendum, as Mr. Wickman mentioned, on the governance of the APC in Lagos. So I think this may be a situation where they are scared about the opposition and what have you. But I think it's very dangerous, especially when you look at the antecedent, how APC got into the Aso Rock, the presidential seat in 2015, right? They played opposition for a very long time too. So they shouldn't quickly forget that opposition is actually very good for democracy. And I would like to see, politicians playing fair and discussing the issues and trying to convince the people that their candidate or their party is the best party for the job in the States, as opposed to trying to force their way through. Because at the end of the day, when you force your way through and you eventually get into power, then you would continue in that same manner to treat the people that way. So I think it's unfortunate that this is occurring in 2023, but as the former host or panelist said here, Mr. Wickman, that it's actually very good for our democracy if we have alternatives, because then everyone that gets the job understands that they need to perform for the people to be able to give them that mandate going forward. But this kind of precedent that is being set is very dangerous, because they have to realize that with this kind of incidents occurring, younger politicians, people coming into the system, can look at that as a blueprint to say, once you achieve power, or the way for you to get to win elections is by intimidation. And this could be very dangerous. The person perpetrating it today could be the recipient tomorrow.